This is Appalling News, and I'm Paul Chatto. We live in a topsy-turvy world where hundreds of thousands of people die in sectarian violence all over the world each year, yet the only war that is of any interest to white, pampered middle-class students continues to be in the Middle East. A bunch of Hamas supporters took over a building on the campus of Western Sydney University and renamed it Haniyeh's Building for assassinated Hamas terrorist leader Ismail Haniyeh. And why not? What a great role model Haniyeh was. Some of his accomplishments included diverting aid money to build terror tunnels, buying weapons, enslavement of his own people, throwing gays off of buildings, and running off to Qatar to enjoy the $4 billion he stole. A perfect role model for students with student loan debts. Here you can see them eating a terroroni pizza. And in this video, a teacher is yelling, "Leave my Palestinian death cult supporting students alone." We wonder if that's in her syllabus. Meanwhile, in the United States of, oh, you've got to be kidding me, at Harvard for an event for Israel supporter Mossab Hassan Youssef, son of Hamas co-founder Sheikh Hassan Youssef, the organizers were forced to read a note from the Harvard administration stating that disruptors are allowed to make noise for 10 minutes before being removed. Here's the full statement the students had to read to the audience. Harvard University is committed to maintaining a climate in which reason and speech provide the correct response to a disagreeable idea. Speech is privileged in the university community. There are obligations of civility and respect for others that underlie rational discourse. If any disruption occurs that prohibits speech, the disruptors will be allowed for up to 10 minutes. A warning will be issued to all disruptors at the 5-minute mark, explaining that the protesters were disrupting the event and ask them to stop. Any further disruption that prevents the audience from adequately hearing or seeing the speakers will lead to the removal of the disruptors from the venue. This will be as successful as a parent yelling at their abusive child for the 10th time to stop choking his younger sibling, or they're leaving Walmart immediately. So this vapid little speech is intended to let the blue-haired, the overweight, the cucked men vent enough Harvard hopes to make their point and leave. Hey, everyone, we have 5 minutes to call Ben Shapiro a Nazi. Finally, Iranian brothers convicted in U.S. moved to Canada, granted new names by Ontario government. Well, of course we did. 2 brothers the United States authorities had convicted for skirting sanctions on Iran by exporting restricted materials back to their home country managed to legally resettle in Canada after their sentencing with new identities. Following their convictions, Amin and Arash Yousefzadeh returned to Ontario, where they had lived previously. Upon arriving, the 2 applied to have their names changed to, get this, Amin and Arash Cohen. That is what we call the very definition of chutzpah. We are looking forward to the opening of their Ayatollah kosher deli. Ontario law requires applicants seeking to change their names to provide details of past criminal convictions and are not permitted to receive new identities for an improper purpose. We are shocked that 2 Iranians supporting a terror state would lie about any past criminal convictions. Don't terrorists have scruples anymore? Arash is a naturalized Canadian citizen and cannot be deported, and hopes to become a vice president in the banking industry. We think that would be a good fit. The Canadian Border Services Agency is trying to get his brother deported. Let's not forget it was the Liberal government of junta leader Generalissimo Justin Trudeau that granted Ahmed Faoud Mustafa El-Didi Canadian citizenship, even though there was a 2015 ISIS propaganda video allegedly showing El-Didi torturing and dismembering a man tied to a crucifix in Iraq, which just happens to be a diversity checkbox. Only Australia and the UK seem to be ahead of Canada in the race for the bottom, but we're catching up. This is Appalling News, and that's the way it is.